Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. Today we're going to be doing some more practice on IELTS speaking. The last hour we had basically been looking at IELTS question 1. So today for this class we're going to jump right into practice questions 1 and questions 2 and 3, which are description, question 2, and opinion, question 3. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Okay, how do I do this? Okay. All right. Hello. Okay, I got a few people coming into the class now. Hello, Mohammed. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Nice to have you with us. Good to see you. Okay, so Mohammed, are you planning on taking an IELTS test by any chance?
Actually, I am a beginner in this language. I'm not good to take a test now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's all right. All right, today will still be good practice for you, or for anyone, for that matter, who is trying to learn English. Happy to have you here. Alan.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
It's Alan.
Yes, it's
Am I?
Yeah, you've got the right
Okay,
pronunciation.
very good. Thank you.
I'm not planning to pass the
so,
IELTS
Alan, where are you
or
from?
something. I'm from Paris, from France, but I'm living in London right now.
You're not planning on, but okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from France.
From France. Oh, very nice. Okay. Great. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to be going to take the IELTS test. For anyone out there, okay, finally, well, boom, everybody jumped into the class. We got a nice full class here. I'm going to try to do the minimum of talking here because we have a lot of practicing to do. We're going to be looking at IELTS 2 and 3, pretty much. Questions 2 and 3, description. So I'm going to do my introductions. Everybody's going to get a chance to practice some questions. So I'm going to do my introductions as we go because I want to jump right in. We're going to start with question 2 in IELTS, which is description. Now, maybe I've asked a couple people, the early joiners, if they're planning to take IELTS, and they're not, and that's okay. Any person learning English will benefit from the class. Also, anybody who's doing a TOEIC or a TOEFL will benefit from the class because each of these tests, they go about it in a different way. They have a different sort of strategy, but they're all looking for basically the same types of speaking skills. So they're just extracting those skills from you in a different way. So anyway, no worries. This class will pretty much benefit anybody who wants to be here. So I'm going to just jump right in with, I'm going to do a little screen share. We're going to jump right into part 2 of the IELTS test, which is, Now, hopefully you can see this. I can enlarge it. Can you guys see this, or should I make it? Should I grow it? Let's see. Let's go 125. I'm working off a PDF here. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. It just needs to be a little bit on the right so that we can see the entire text.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Thanks. Thank you for your help. Okay, so this would be a typical Part 2 question, 3 to 4 minutes. The examiner will hand you a card that looks like the box here. He's going to hand you a pencil and some paper because you are allowed to make notes. Usually, by the way, some side information, this card would be laminated. It would have plastic on it, but sometimes they use paper cards. Whatever you do, do not write on the card. It really pisses off the examiner, and he uses the same cards over and over again. So very bad strategy to make the interviewer angry right away. So don't do that. All right, use the pencil and paper. Okay, absolutely. The examiner will then give you 1 minute. He will explain what's going on. He will say, okay, you have 1 minute to study the topic card and to make notes. You can make notes in any language you want to. Any of you guys who are really smart would be making notes right now. There is a remarkably huge difference between those who make notes when they have the opportunity and those who don't. Also, in a TOEFL test, you're allowed to make notes. So I 100% endorse the practice. Please make notes. It will help you immensely. That being said, you do not have time to write out your response. Unless you're like some kind of speedwriter Superman, if you're the Flash or something. Otherwise, your notes should basically consist of short phrases or keywords that you want to use while discussing the topic. Same thing in TOEFL, actually. I would give you the same exact advice. Make short notes of keywords. You can even sometimes find keywords in the actual topic card. Sometimes that you want to use, or you can think about synonyms or words with the same meanings when you do this. All right, in question 2, see the bullet points here. Extremely important and the key to your success in the IELTS test. Basically, you use the beginning to give your topic sentence, and what you want to focus on is making sure you get all of those bullet points in your answer. Very, very key. Sometimes IELTS will be a little tricky. For example, looking at our card here, describe a city or town you've enjoyed visiting. Okay, I'm going to use that in my first sentence. I'm going to say, oh, for example, the city I most enjoyed traveling to is Athens in Greece. Okay, that's it. I've introduced my discussion, and now I'm going to just continue. Now, sometimes they're tricky, and they will use a double question on a bullet point. Make sure you get them both. For example, it might see when did you visit this city and who were you with? Okay, then there's really 2 points there. Sometimes they do that to try to be a little tricky. Don't forget this last one here. Explain why you enjoyed the visit. Don't forget it. That is actually another point you have to cover. So sometimes, for example, I will do this. I will do something like this. Let me just Okay, I've got, hang on, I might do this. All right, I'm going to share with you a notepad or something. I might very quickly, before I even start making notes, I might see that card and I might just quickly write down what, or I might write down, okay, I need to say where, when, maybe the question has, do I recommend it? I'll write down the basic points. What did, okay, what did I do there? I'll quickly write that down and then maybe make a hyphen or something and write, oh, okay, what did I do? Acropolis, Agora, Hike Mountain. I'm going to make quick notes like this as fast as I can in the mid. I don't even need to write where. I know I'm going to talk about Athens. Oh, this was 1980, whatever. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just making very quick notes, and I'm also using the bullet points to organize my notes so that I won't lose track of something. All right? This is my technique. Now, all you guys, you might have different techniques that you want to use as far as notes, but whatever you do, please make notes. It's only going to help you. Okay, now, again, how it works is you have 1 minute to make your notes, which you should have been doing while I was jabbering, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to give a few people a chance to try this. 1 minute to make notes, and then you need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Try for 2. Okay. Do I have a volunteer to try to go first? If not, I'm not shy. I'll pick someone.
I volunteer myself.
Yay! Hugo, good to have you back. Hi, Hugo.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, good to have you again. All right, here you go, buddy. Question number 2. This is your card. Describe a city or town you've enjoyed visiting. Please begin.
Okay. First of all, I love traveling, and the city that I enjoyed the most in the travels I made was New York City. It's a great city. It was like 3 years ago in 2010, and I went in a work and travel program. I got a job in the United States during the summer period, and I went with a lot of my friends from the university, and we had a lot of fun. The thing that I enjoyed the most was I met a lot of people all over the world in the hostel where I stayed. It was in Manhattan. It was very nice. I love the big buildings in the city. Places like Times Square, so crowded. I went to places like the Brooklyn Bridge, the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, Chinatown, Central Park. In 1 week I traveled like all over New York City, and the most funny, the thing that I enjoyed the most was on the last day. I took a helicopter ride all over the city, and it was amazing. I just love New York City, and that's the city I like the most.
Okay. Very good. Now, class, everyone, did Hugo cover all the points on the card? Did he say when he visited New York? Yes. Check.
Yes.
Yes, he did. Did he say what he did there? Yes.
Yes, he did.
He gave numerous examples of activities that he did there. He gave a lot of detail about what he did there. Great. He gave me examples of listing, which is always good. If you can show you know how to use correct intonation and sentence structure when listing things, that is going to get you points. Good. Did Hugo say how long he stayed there?
He quickly said it, but he said summer period.
Yeah.
In the summer
Okay.
holidays.
So, all right. So I can check that one off. Actually, I was kind of unsure. I thought he did, but thank you. That's why I'm asking you guys. And he most certainly explained why he enjoyed the visit, and he even elaborated and explained about the thing he enjoyed most. He did talk for very close to 2 minutes, so that would be, my friends, his band score would be very high for this. He very much covered it all. He did it in a very organized way. He went from one point to the next point quite smoothly. Boy, I don't know. That's really good score. And as the listener, I fully understood his ideas, and he developed his ideas very well. That is how you do it. Hugo, excellent example. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, no.
Feedback. Really good feedback. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, and then what happens at this point? The examiner may ask you one or two questions. They may not, actually. The police are coming to get you. Hugo, run!
Oh, yeah. No, not me.
Run away!
Not me tonight. Not me tonight.
There's going to be another opening in the class soon. Okay, all right. Okay, just kidding. Okay.
Happens all the time.
Okay. In any case, if you only speak for 1 minute or you seem quite hesitant, you're going to have at least 2 questions to follow up. But if you do a very good job of developing, you might get one quick question. It may be even a confirmation. Like with his answer, the question might be, so you would probably like to go visit New York again someday, right? And then, yeah, I sure would. I would love to go again. It can be very brief answer, especially if you've done a good job with your other. The follow-up questions is where if you feel you've done poorly, try to speak a little more. If you think you really covered the topic, a short answer is okay. Just because I went to university in New York City, I know New York very well. Hugo, did you ever... My follow-up question, a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Hugo, did you ever go to the New York Stock Exchange?
New York
Stock Exchange?
Where is it? I don't think so.
Well, it's Wall Street, of course.
Oh, Wall Street. Yeah. I went there. I didn't know that was the name of that place.
Oh, no.
Wall Street.
Where they trade stocks, NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. It's very close to where that giant bull thing is.
There's
anyway,
like a golden bull there.
Yeah, that's right.
A picture with it.
Right. Yeah, it's for me, going to New York, that's one of the most amazing things to see, because you're looking at the world finances being carried out by a large group of crazy people. They're jumping and screaming and answering 3 phones at once. It's better than the zoo, actually. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's continue. I'm going to kind of go backwards this time. I want to give Andre, I know, is very interested. Andre, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I want to give you a crack at this question, because you had a similar related question in the last class. So I want to give you a chance at this one. All right, Andre, so whenever you're ready, please try the same question. Describe a city or town you've enjoyed visiting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the city I enjoy most visiting was Buenos Aires, Argentina. It was 3 years ago, and I spent there for about 2 weeks. The reason why we traveled to that place was because we had to study a specific course for the university, and wow, the food and we visited several places. We just go to a typical, very famous street called Caminito, and it was a very funny experience because we actually learned how to dance tango. It was very, very curious. After that, we went to the stadium, the Boca Junior Stadium. We also went to for an amusement park, and the food is delicious as I am meat eater. I In Buenos Aires you can find a lot of places to eat meat. It's very very delicious, and we also live the nightlife of Buenos Aires, and the people is very nice, very kind, and we have a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, and as opposed to last time, Andre, I knew you were finished there. That was much better, actually. You finished better that time. Okay. All right. Yeah, try to avoid saying "and that's it" when you're finished speaking. All right. It's because it's habit forming, and then you're repeating yourself, and it's not good. Okay. Now, did Andre cover all the points? When did he visit the town or city? Most certainly. What he did there? Most certainly. Andre, did you mention how long you were there?
Yes, I did. I said I stayed 3 weeks there.
Okay. Yeah, your microphone is a little bit. It's a little staticky. So it's not your speaking. It's your technology. It's your microphone. So I had a little problem hearing that. Okay, I think Andre, that was much better than the first class. Much better developing your ideas. And Andre used a technique where he was actually he was saying things in a chronological order. He used a time order to express what he did there. Okay, very good. You very commonly in IELTS will be asked to describe a situation. So situation, something that happens to us, happens in a certain time order. So it's a good way, it's a good strategy to answer the question. And he used introductory signal phrases. We can call them signal words, signal phrases, discourse markers to to indicate the flow of the story. After that, we went to nightclubs, and then after that, and then later on, these kinds of words that we use at beginnings of sentences, very key and very specifically, IELTS is looking for this. Let me tell you actually something about IELTS. Very unique test. One reason I like the IELTS test. If you don't do that at all, if you use no signal words, you're at a certain level, maybe level 4 or 5. If you try to use these signal phrases, this vocabulary, and you fail, you suck. You can't do it, you're bad at it, and you stink. Guess what? Your level still goes up to level 6. If you can do it effectively, then you're up at level 7 or 8. IELTS, in fact, rewards you for attempting more complex grammar structure, more complex vocabulary like idioms, more complex ideas, abstract thinking. They will reward you for that. You will get a higher score for trying, even though you mess it up. It is possible, in theory, and actually I've seen this, for someone to try to keep their answers extremely simple in IELTS. Simple sentences, subject, verb, object sentences, and very concrete, it's a glass, a comb, very simple, concrete language. And student A will do that, and they'll end up getting a 5, and they'll wonder why. And student B, half the time he won't be making sense because he's trying to use very complicated English skills, and he can end up with a 6. So, Andre, remember that. Keep that in mind. In IELTS, sometimes you're rewarded for trying to do more complicated things, and you can sometimes raise your score by doing that. I like that in IELTS, actually. It's kind of cool. They reward students for trying.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, all right. So don't be afraid of mistakes. You can get a band 9. You can get a perfect score and still have a few mistakes. Or maybe a small, pronouncing TH or whatever. You use a vocabulary word here wrong. You can still do well. Don't be afraid of the mistakes in IELTS. You really shouldn't. All right. I'm going to, because I want to make sure I have enough time to do so, I'm going to just continue to part 3. All right, I'm going to do another screen share here. Give me half a second, because it's already halfway through the class. And because these are more of a question-by-question, guys, I will make sure that I will be asking questions of all the students who haven't had a question yet. Part 2 is basically a unit. You have to answer the whole thing as a unit. Part 3, now the thing to know, obviously our Part 2 question was about somewhere you traveled to. So, in Part 3, our subjects are going to be travel and tourism, economy, and environment. Very much related to Part 2. So in other words, once you start brainstorming Part 2, it should give you some help for Part 3, because you're going to stay on the same kind of topic. So all right, we just talked about travel, so let's just jump in, and I'm going to start asking questions, opinion questions based on travel and tourism. I'm going to go kind of backwards. Alan.
Hey. Yep.
Hey, how you doing? So, Alan, I'm going to ask you the examiner will do this as well. I'm going to ask you some questions about travel and tourism. They will introduce. Yeah.
Oakley? Yeah,
yep.
That's me or Alan? Elaine.
Oh, there's 2 Allens. Again, well, too many Hugos, too many Allens. What's
No, actually it's Elaine, I think, and Alan.
Oh, thanks a lot. That was helpful. Okay. Mr. Roca?
Yeah.
Rocha?
That's me.
Roca?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say Mr. Roca. Okay. All right. You're from Brazil.
Yes.
In Brazil, do people travel Do people travel more nowadays than they used to in the past?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it happens because in the past airfares were more expensive, and so you didn't have this facility to travel and so on. So that's why I think it's the key point of that. And in addition, you have better flights and more sophisticated technology and coach and so on. So you have this kind of stuff. So that is it.
Okay. All right. A little feedback for you. Another very specific thing. IELTS. Actually, all of them. Again, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC. This is common to any speaking test, English speaking test you will take. Very common element, very important in English speaking is what we call paraphrasing. Very simply, what you should do, it is bad practice to, in your first sentence, use because. Okay?
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to paraphrase the question. So the question was, do people travel more nowadays than they used to in the past? So a paraphrase would be, I think people travel a lot more than they used to in the past. You're basically repeating back the question. This skill is really quite simple, but it is something that you should practice so that you get in the habit of doing it. In particular, if any of you are planning on taking an English-speaking test, practice this. Practice this at home with your mom. Your mom says, oh, time for dinner. We're going to have chicken Kiev tonight. Do you like chicken Kiev? Say, Mom, yes, I really like chicken Kiev. And then stop. I like chicken Kiev because of the tasty flavors and the way you cook it, Mom. You cook it crispy and light and moist. So this is something you can practice in real life, and it's something that you need to form the habit, so when you take your test, you can do this. This is very specifically in the scoring rules for all of those tests, in TOEFL, in IELTS. It's quite specific. They are looking for paraphrase. In fact, it's so important that you cannot, it's like a roadblock. You cannot get above a certain score if you do not do this. You're just stuck, like I think level 5 or 5.5. You're just stuck. If you never paraphrase, it doesn't matter if the rest of your English is perfect. You're still going to be stuck with a 5.5. So very important. Very simply, just state your opinion using the question and then stop. And then start. My first reason is, or first of all, la da 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 da, which you did that part, Alan. You said, you gave your reason, and then you said, in addition, da 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 da. All right? Okay. And then if you're really good, you get to the end of the question, you say, and so those are the reasons I think that traveling is much more common now. A concluding sentence. In other words, again, you're going to rephrase your topic sentence or your paraphrase. If you do that, if you follow that basic organization, you can't go wrong. Okay. You can go wrong. That means the beginning and the end are easy. It's the hard part is the middle, of course, your reasons and examples, right?
Okay.
That is up to you, your own brain and your imagination. I can't help you with that much. All right, let's try Alan number 2.
Okay.
Mr. Mabouche. Mabouche?
Yeah, that's
from France. Mr. Mabouche from France. Okay. Am I saying your name right?
It's Ambush, actually. But that's
Ambush.
fine.
Thank you. Ooh, it sounds like ambush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? Right. Oh, I'm right. Okay. Cool. Do you know this word? Ambush?
Ambush? Oh, yeah. Like you're in trouble. You got ambushed.
You got ambushed. Yeah. Somebody surprised you and caused you problems. Yeah. Right. Very good.
Yep.
All right. So, okay, sometimes IELTS will ask a very kind of almost stupid question and very general. So I'm going to ask you that kind of a question. What can one learn from traveling to other countries?
What can you learn from traveling to other countries? I think it's interesting because you can discover different cultures, and when you're only in your country, you don't know what's going on in other country. Even though you can access to news and on the internet you can access to what's going on, it's not like you're in there. It's not like you're in that culture. And yeah, when you travel, you can discover what's going on and really get into it and talk to people who live there and yeah, really get into it.
Okay. All right. Alan used a little bit of colloquial language. Really get into it. It's a very kind of English-speaking, American, British, whatever expression. Using groups of words like that, good. That's good. That is definitely a higher skill. He got a little bit repetitive, but on the other hand, you said it in a different way. So honestly, I don't think that would count against you. If you're going to repeat yourself using the same vocabulary and or expressions, that's not good. If you change the way you say it, I think you would be okay, actually.
Yeah, it's because you have to be spontaneous, so it's hard to think about different ideas and develop them. So.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right. So here's a suggestion I might make. Think about, Alan, have you ever traveled to other countries? Have you had an opportunity?
Yes.
Okay. Use that experience in your answer. If we start thinking about our own personal experience and what we did when we went to Morocco or Athens or wherever you may have gone, we tend to be able to think, because we're being spontaneous, we tend to be able to think more linearly. That's hard for me to say. Linearly. In a line. Oh boy. Yeah. Linear, in a line. We can think more less generally and more in a straight line. Oh, for example, when I went to Morocco, I met some shopkeepers and they explained about their life. That way, you know, your topic, what you're telling me about is learning about cultures. Give me an example from your experience. And then when you're giving that example, it's of course your own memory. You tend to actually be able to speak in a much more forward, straight line rather than balloon thinking, you know? You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, interesting.
It may help you. One very small grammar critique. People who lives there should be people who live there.
Who live there.
Yeah, right. People is plural. They live there. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But that's small grammar mistake. That really, those kinds of small grammar mistakes, small pronunciation things, they're not going to hurt you that much on any of these tests. IELTs, TOEFL, TOEIC, whatever. It's not, as long as it doesn't, the rule of thumb, as long as it doesn't confuse the listener, okay. And I knew what you meant, and that didn't confuse me at all, so relatively, extremely minor, actually. All right. But good job. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Mohammed. Hi. How are you?
I'm fine.
We have two.
Oh, now we got multiple Mohammeds. Ah, jeez. So many.
Okay, it's okay because like I'm new here, so you can start completely.
All right. Well, no, this has been my verbling experience today. Everyone's named Hugo or Alan or Mohammed. Everyone has the same name. Is there some kind of rule I don't know about? Okay. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. All right. Let me talk to Mr. Chauhan.
Yes.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay, Mr. Chauhan. Okay. I want to change the topic slightly and talk more about tourism. Okay. Now, sometimes you're going to get sort of a double question or a comparison and contrast question. Little bit difficult. I'll help you out if you run into trouble. Mohammed, what positive or negative effects does tourism have on a local economy? Okay, I'll do the screen share so you can see it too. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, so it's the tourism question here. What positive or negative effects does tourism have on a local economy?
Tourism mostly have a positive effect. It can make a good a new income for the country from the touring, from buying gifts and I don't know. It's more like.
Okay. Are you getting hung up on one word?
No. I'm just thinking like it's just to be it gets more positive effect. It can make more sales in the market, and like some places when you go for tourists, all the places like in my country is the tourists pay fare for coming in. It may help the economy, and for negative ones, maybe some. I actually can't think of negative effects.
Okay.
Of tourism.
Okay. All right. Now, actually, that's good. You may run into this in the actual IELTS test. You may run into talking about a comparison where you can't think of a negative effect. But instead of just ignoring it, Mohammed very correctly did address it. He did say, well, you know, you might have said something like, as far as negative effects goes, or when I consider negative effects. Your sort of subordinate clause was a little weak there, but at least you talked about it, which is good. You have to. Don't just forget about, if you get a two-sided question or comparison question, don't just ignore one. That's not good. So
Yeah.
even though you couldn't really think of any reasons, you addressed it, and that's very good, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I can actually count that as he addressed it and he gave a reason. Usually, normally, in general, IELTS is going to give you in this section, part 3, they're going to give you a general opinion question. They're going to ask you some kind of comparison question. You're just going to get it. And you're also going to get a conjecture question or a future tense question. What will something be like in the future? As far as the topic or how they phrase the question, well, that could come in many different forms. But basically, you're going to get that. Basically, when you get the comparison question, most important, which Mohammed did, you have to talk about both. And they're looking for you to use correct structure. Like I was giving you some subordinators as far as as far as negative effects, or you can use phrasing like, on one hand, tourism is a positive thing because blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, tourism can be bad because tourists pollute the environment, or they trample down the flowers, or who knows what. They drive up crime. Okay, there's possibly so pretty good. Now your start, Mohammed, because of how you finished your start, was good. You did somewhat paraphrase the beginning. You said, I think there are many positive effects to tourism. You didn't really mention negative, but then you didn't in the end either, so it matches your speaking. So that was okay. And that was paraphrasing. So I would say it lacks a little bit of more. For example, he was talking about buying things. When tourists buy things, they're called souvenirs. When we buy, basically junk, we buy stupid things. We all do this when we travel. We buy dumb things to bring back with us, T-shirts and whatever. They're called souvenirs. So, actually, because you're very specifically talking about something there's a word for, you might have lost for vocabulary. You might have lost, what else? You have one small pronunciation problem, too, Mohammed. You roll your R's. Your R's get rolled, okay? like that. It's a very common thing, okay? I don't want you to be embarrassed, but just be aware, okay? In English, we don't roll them. Our tongue doesn't bounce up and down. What we do is we slowly glide our tongue. We stretch them. Rabbit. Regular. we stretch the sound a little rather than bounce our tongue. But so that's something you might want to look at, you know, practice, whatever. Okay, but nice job, Mohammed. I would give that a 7.5 or an 8, really. That was good. Quite a decent presentation. All right, Mohammed number 2. Mohammed Ahmed. Ahmed?
Yeah.
Ahmed. You have a rhythmic name. I like it. Your name creates a rhythm. Mohammed Ahmed.
Mohammed Hamid, yeah.
Mohammed Hamid. Yeah, I like it. Okay,
Thanks.
Are you ready for your question?
Not that much.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I'm still new, you know.
Yeah. All right. So,
Be sure you're self-confident.
okay, I sort of mentioned it slightly. What effect does travel have on the environment? Tourism, or I'd say tourism. What effects can tourism have on the environment?
Really,
Are
I'm
you
not
there?
ready. Really, I'm not ready.
Really, I'm not ready. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll
It's the
give.
first time, you know.
All right, well,
I'm so sorry.
Miguel, are you ready?
Yes.
That's okay. All right, Miguel, you want to give it a try? What effects can tourism have on the environment?
Yes, I think, for example, when a new buildings, if a new buildings are need to be built, it can affect the sound. And for example, if you build a new port, you are changing the natural beach or reefs and so on. And I think it's another problem is, for example, the water. Some people spends a lot or spends a lot of water in golf fields, but it's necessary for other things like fruits or I don't know the word to say yes. I
Okay.
think it's when a new project or a tourist project is in a zone. I think we need to review the impact of the natural environment.
Okay, Miguel. Way to finish strong there. I was worried about you. You're kind of trailing off, falling off the cliff a little. But then you, nice comeback. You finished strong. Okay, restated, if you guys are listening, Miguel restated his opinion at the end. He said it's very important that we study the impact of any changes to the environment caused by increase in tourism. Okay, you had me worried there a couple times, Miguel. I have to be honest. You started talking about building, and building per se, it depends. I mean, what does that have to do with tourism? I was a little worried because, of course, people build things. They build manufacturing plants. We build things for industry. For different reasons, but then, okay, you started slipping away, and then you pulled yourself back by talking about airports and traveling. Okay, so you got back on the topic. Everyone, what Miguel did, he started to go off topic, but then he pulled back. Then he started to drift away again, and then he pulled back again. So that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But it's very important not to drift off topic. But if you can pull yourself back, I could almost feel Miguel like pulling the rope. Oh, I gotta get back there. I can almost feel it, and it's okay. You successfully did. You were headed in the direction of getting maybe a 4.5 score, and then you bring yourself back to 5.5, 6.5.
Okay.
It was scary. The suspense was killing me. Yeah.
No.
I was unclear, and I'll tell you why you're down at like probably you're in 5.5 territory. Your second point, I really didn't understand. I got your first point, building related to tourism. What was your second point again? And your introduction and your conclusion were very good. My problem was with your second point. What were you saying? Do you remember?
Yes, it's about the airport. So, yes.
Airport?
Yes, I think when you build a new airport, or you have to change the environment, and this can means destroy the natural environment.
Okay, I got you. All right. Okay, well, nice job. Okay, and very good of example of how sometimes you almost by a force of will have to bring yourself back on topic, as you did. Actually, it was a good example for everyone. And so that's okay. It was a good, nice exercise.
Thank you for your feedback.
What?
Thank you for your feedback.
Oh yeah, certainly. That's what I'm here for. Okay, we got some new people here. Oh, geez, somebody's not going to get a chance. Lucas, you might be last here. Are you ready for your question?
Yeah, yeah.
He says with great enthusiasm. Your question is kind of a future question. Excuse me, sorry. What can countries do to promote tourism?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure, I can. What can countries do to promote tourism?
I believe that the countries should show their own culture, to show their own people, and to show what the city or the region has to offer to the visitors who are always looking for the image, for the characteristics of the region.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if it's your microphone or what. You're a little bit garbled in your speaking. Number one, if you are worried, anybody, this is not just directed to you, Lucas, but anybody at all in the class or outside listening, if anybody thinks they may have slight pronunciation problems, or they're worried about their accent, their natural accent, my advice would be to slow down your speech rhythm or pace just a little bit. It helps us to iron out those small problems. And as I said previously, any of these tests, IELTs, TOEIC, TOEFL, whatever, a lot of the scoring has to do with how much effort, if I'm scoring your test, how much effort do I as the listener have to use to understand what you're saying and the flow of your opinion, story, whatever. So in your case, Lucas, I might slow down just a little bit. It's okay. You don't get a higher score on any of these tests for speaking very quickly. If you speak very fast and you're talking like this, you're really not going to get a higher score because it actually sounds a little bit crazy. Like you're on drugs or something. Yeah. And, equally, if you're speaking very slowly, it also sounds crazy, right? But there's a lot of ground in between that we can use, all right? Some of us naturally speak faster than others, and so pacing is really not scored. So if you want to iron out some slight pronunciation problems or whatever, just slow down a little bit when you're speaking. Maybe it's not quite natural. You've got to concentrate a little bit more on speaking a little slower. But if you do that, it often helps with the listener. It helps the listener. And if it does, it means you're going to get a better score. It's a good teaching skill, too. I have to do it if I'm teaching a lot of beginners. You guys are all pretty intermediate to advanced level. If I'm teaching a class and I'm doing, for example, basic phonetic pronunciation, if you ever join me in one of those classes, which I do sometimes, and it's a beginner class, you will notice that I speak much more slowly paced. I will be talking to the class like this. Okay? Anyway, teacher skills that I have to learn. Okay, guys, so we've only got seconds left. I want to thank everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get to, I think, Bernardo. I'm sorry, Bernardo, you came in the class a little later.
Yeah, I was late.
I'm sorry about that, but I wasn't able to get to you. I think everybody else had at least an opportunity to try a question. But I've got to go now.
Thank you for your advice.
You're very welcome. Thank you. You guys are very enjoyable to teach you guys. I thank you for your participation. I appreciate it. You guys make it an easy class to teach. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you again.
Bye.
Thank you.
Next class with a new teacher will be starting up very soon. Okay, so bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye.